Loving the Duke, a Regency romance. Written by Eliza Mcgrey. Narrated by Nikki Delgaldo
and Adam Goodman.
Introduction.
William does not want anything in his life to change. He is more than content to continue with his rakish ways, but when his father dies unexpectedly, he is forced to return to the country and take on his ducal responsibilities.
Eleanor Davisham hates how her parents quash her free spirit. They are determined that she should marry, but only a man of their choosing. Determined to live her own life and terrified of her suitor's cruelty, Elena flees from her home, managing to find employment. Sparks fly when the new Duke and Eleanor meet. She will not be taken in by his flirtations, and he is astounded to discover that, once he drops his façade, his heart is softening in a way he has never experienced before. However, secrets haunt their blossoming relationship, and when they all come out in a flurry, Eleanor's life is left hanging in the balance, and William must decide what he is to do with the woman who has captured his heart. Chapter 1. Might I ask why you appear so bedraggled, William?
William, Marquess of Pemberley and eldest son of the Duke of Ulster, sighed heavily and wished to goodness that his mother did not have such a whining voice.
William, she warned, tapping the side of her teacup with a small silver spoon, as if to gain his attention. I believe I have asked you a question.
For goodness sake, Mamma, he exclaimed, placing his head firmly in his hands. Can you not see that I have something of a headache?
She blew out a frustrated breath. I hardly see you these days, William. What are you doing with your days?
More like, what am I doing with my nights? William muttered to himself, a small smile playing around his mouth as he considered the delectable Mrs. Helena Smythe, who had been a particularly warm bedmate. Of course, being a rich widow, she had no thoughts of matrimony or the like, which made her the ideal partner.
Well, your father wishes to see you, she declared, interrupting his thoughts. So I suggest you drink your coffee and proceed to his study with as much speed as you can muster.
William did nothing other than groan, dropping his head still further into his hands. He had no wish to speak to the Duke, finding his father an incredibly frustrating man who thought only of duty and consequence instead of the pleasures that came with being as titled as he. Of course, at some point William knew he was going to have to take on the mantle of responsibility, but that wasn't any time soon. His father would have to be on his deathbed before such a consequential change was brought about.
William!
His head shot up, anger in his voice and expression. Mamma, I heard you. Please, leave me be. I am not the child you once ordered about, ready to do your bidding at whatever cost. He watched pain slice through her, saw the sudden sheen of tears in her eyes, and guilt poured over him like a thundercloud. She said nothing more, but got to her feet and left the drawing-room, her back ramrod straight. William groaned once more, berating himself for such cruelty towards his mother. After all, it was not her fault that his father was something of an ogre. In fact, were he honest with himself, she had done a great deal to protect him from his father's harsh ways. And how was he repaying her for it? By lumping her in with his father? By blaming them both for how the Duke treated him? The urge to go after her was too strong, and, rushing to the door, William looked out into the hallway, but discovered that she was nowhere to be seen. Closing the door once more, and having very little intention to go in search of the Duke, William returned to his seat by the fire. His mother had always been kind and gentle, treating him with such tenderness that he never once doubted her love for him. His father had been quite the opposite, thinking that his son was becoming too soft under his mother's care. William had hated him from the moment he had been sent away to boarding school. There he had cried for his mother, only for beating after beating to occur whenever he was discovered. Such expression of feelings was not becoming of a man, or so he had been told. William had learned how to keep his emotions inside, dampening them down until he barely felt them. It was not the best of life, but it worked nonetheless.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?